The powerful predatory shark that gave us the challenge of our lives versus the breaching beauty that could have sunk me. Which of these moments from Deadly 60 do you think's going to win our Deadly Showdown? My name's Steve Backshaw, and this is my Deadly Showdowns, where we put two mighty animals head to head and make them do battle. Not literally, no animals were harmed in the making of these programs. But it is an opportunity to see how the biggest whale would fare against the greatest shark. The fastest striking snake would go against the fastest creature ever known to have lived. This, though, is all about our high seas hunters. So who is our first contender? Well, this is the Oceanic whitetip shark. The Oceanic whitetip used to be known as the lesser white shark, so very closely connected to its cousin, the great white shark, and has been known as being the first shark to be on the scene when a sinking ship goes down. These would once have been the most numerous large predator found on planet Earth. They stalk the high seas, miles and miles away from land, out in the big blue where there isn't really that much to eat. So everything that they find becomes a focal point for them to feed on. And because of that, they have become, unwittingly, the target of fishing boats. Boats like longliners that drag behind them lines with hundreds or thousands of hooks on them, trying to catch things like tuna and marlin, these really high value fish, but instead are catching things like Oceanic whitetip sharks. This cannot go on. With Oceanic whitetip sharks, it is entirely possible that my children may never be able to see them. In some parts of their range, 98% of their numbers have gone already. So to try and find them is a really serious undertaking. So we had seas that were borderline whether we could even go out searching at all, and what we're looking for is not the shark itself. Instead, we're looking for pilot whales. This is a kind of whale or dolphin that swims through the sea, and as they go, they feed on squid. They're quite messy eaters, and they leave some of that squid behind, and also they eject quite a lot of poo, which the sharks love to feed on. So if you drop into the water after pilot whales, there is a chance that following behind them, feeding on their scraps, is going to be an Oceanic whitetip shark. Nothing. And the last day's near done. We failed.
What is that time?
But then suddenly, Simon the sound recorder sees something.
Shark on the other side! On the other side!
Shark on the other side.
Well, spotted a shark, I think, but...
We have a shark! Our first Oceanic whitetip! There's two of them! Now, they stayed around us for a long time, for as much as an hour. We didn't have scuba gear on, we were just free diving because we figured we had to be in and out of the water super quick. And they showed us so much interest. They were coming up and bumping their snouts on our cameras. And I think that's because they have these sensors in their snout. They're called the ampullae of Lorenzini, which detect weak electrical fields. And they could sense the electricity coming out of my camera. And they were just bumping their nose into it, trying to find out if it could be something good to eat. The encounter lasted for what seemed like forever. They were coming around and around, just checking us out, and it's part of their nature that they have to be inquisitive to everything in their world. And sharks don't have any fingers, they can't feel and touch things. They're a little bit like toddlers. If they want to find out what something's like, they stick it in their mouth and give it a bite. Obviously, you don't want to be bitten by one of these sharks, so we would have to keep bumping them off just gently with our cameras. But at the end of it, I felt like it was hard-earned and a really memorable encounter with a shark that is facing so many risks and dangers because of us as human beings. And for that reason, I will never forget it. But contender number 2 is one of the big animals that is featured most often on Deadly, the humpback whale. In the right conditions, humpback whales, which are normally solitary, will come together to feed, doing something called bubble net feeding. The whales will swim down below a shoal of fish like herring, and then one will swim around in a circle, blowing out air from its blowhole, creating a shimmering curtain of bubbles that the fish won't swim out from. They're corralled inside it. And then all the whales erupt up to the surface with their mouths open, their gullets billowing, swallowing tons of fish with every single hunt. It is extraordinary to see. I was out in my kayak quite a lot, and these giant animals, which could weigh twice as much as a fire truck, were just popping up alongside me, bursting out air through their blowholes, which felt like it would blow you out of your kayak. It was utterly mesmerising.
Whoa! This one's getting a little bit close for comfort. Might just move away a bit. Look at the size of that tail! Oh! That frightened the life out of me. The sound just goes right through you. The driving all that air out of those enormous lungs. I mean, these are vast, vast creatures, but all you see is that black hump as it breaks the surface.
But probably the bit which I will remember more than any other was watching one particular whale breaching. So there's lots of reasons why whales breach. They leap out of the water and create a huge splash and sound, and that travels underwater and can be used as communication. They also use it as a way of dislodging parasites and bits of dead skin from their bodies. And then sometimes it just looks like they're having fun, like they're enjoying themselves. Well, this one particular whale was jumping over and over and over again. So we sat still in the boat, filming it, watching, and it takes your breath away.
Breathtaking! Absolutely breathtaking!
But then it very nearly took all of our breaths away, quite literally, because this whale, which could have weighed 40 tons, breached right alongside us. If it had been 10 meters closer, it would have sunk our boat, and we would have all gone straight to the bottom of the Alaskan Sea. But it didn't, and it was spectacular, and I will never, ever forget it. So, who is going to win our Battle of the High Seas Hunters? Well, they are critically endangered. They're being lost from our seas at frightening numbers and degrees. So, to me, it has to be the Oceanic whitetip. It's an encounter that I may never get a chance to have again, and I certainly will never forget. So that's two pretty powerful contenders there, right? I mean, I could have gone either way. But there are lots more Deadly Showdowns available on BBC Earth Kids, so get over there and subscribe and check out all the Deadly content we've got there. For now though, this is me, Stevie B, signing out.